Today we're going to take a deep dive into Type B personalities. What does it mean to have a Type B personality? What are some of the positive and negative aspects of having this kind of personality? And who are some famous people with Type B personalities? Keep watching to find out. But before we get into it, don't forget to hit that like button if you haven't already. If you're new here, make sure to subscribe and click the notification bell so you never miss out on any of our latest videos. First, let's start with the basics. A Type B personality is someone who is relaxed and easygoing. They tend to be non-competitive, and they aren't usually driven by the need to always achieve success. Some may even describe them as laid back and calm. People with Type B personalities tend to dislike being rushed or pressured, and will often try to avoid stressful situations at all costs. One of the main differences between a Type A and a Type B personality is how they react to stress. In general, Type A personalities tend to experience stress more intensely than Type B personalities do. They also tend to react differently. Those with Type A personalities tend to become more easily irritated and frustrated when under stress. Type B personalities, on the other hand, tend to remain calm and level-headed even when faced with high levels of stress. They're able to think clearly and make rational decisions even in difficult situations. You won't usually find people with Type B personalities trying to compete with everyone around them. Instead, they're happy to go at their own pace and do things in their own way. This doesn't mean that they don't have goals or that they aren't ambitious. For example, if a colleague asks them to work overtime on a project, they'll likely decline and stick to their schedule. They don't want to sacrifice their personal life for their career. Next, we have aggression. People with Type B personalities are typically non-aggressive, both physically and verbally. They hate confrontation and will often avoid it at all costs. This doesn't mean that they're doormats though. They're still capable of standing up for themselves if needed. However, most of the time they'd rather just keep the peace. Moving on to how they handle changes to their schedule. People with Type B personalities don't like their schedules to change much. They thrive on routine and familiarity and feel comfortable when they know what to expect each day. So if something comes up last minute that requires them to rearrange their schedule, they'll likely feel stressed and overwhelmed. That's why it's important for people with Type B personalities to plan ahead and make arrangements in advance whenever possible. Now let's talk about their attitude towards rules. People with Type B personalities typically don't have a problem following rules. In fact, they usually appreciate the structure and order that rules provide. However, they also don't like rules that make no sense or that they feel are unfair. In these cases, they're more likely to break the rules or bend them to their advantage. Next, let's discuss how they deal with criticism. People with Type B personalities generally take criticism to heart. They're really not good at separating themselves from their work, and so they often take it personally when someone criticizes something they've done. As a result, they can come across as being defensive or dismissive. Even when the criticism is constructive, it's important to keep this in mind when dealing with people with Type B personalities. Be careful not to hurt their feelings or damage their confidence. Moving on, let's look at how they handle decision-making. People with Type B personalities typically take a relaxed approach to decision-making. They don't like to feel rushed or pressured when making choices and will often take their time to weigh all the options. This doesn't mean that they're indecisive, but they simply prefer to take a more leisurely approach to decision-making. Next, let's talk about their leadership style. People with Type B personalities typically don't make very good leaders. They're not natural-born leaders and don't enjoy the responsibility that comes with it. Instead, they prefer to follow the lead of someone else. This isn't necessarily a bad thing. In fact, it can be quite beneficial for team settings, as people with Type B personalities make great followers. They're loyal and supportive and will help the leader achieve their goals. Moving on to their relationships with others. People with Type B personalities are typically easy to get along with. They're not competitive or aggressive and are usually pretty easygoing. This makes them great friends and co-workers, but it can also make them susceptible to being taken advantage of. As mentioned earlier, they don't like confrontation and will often just go along with whatever others want. This can sometimes lead to them getting into relationships with people who are good for them, simply because they do want to rock the boat. Finally, let's look at their attitude towards work. People with Type B personalities are typically more laid back when it comes to work. They're really not as driven or ambitious as type A personalities and are more willing to take a relaxed approach to their careers. This doesn't mean that they're lazy or unmotivated, but they just don't place the same importance on work that type A personalities do. For example, they might not feel the need to climb the corporate ladder or make as much money as possible. Instead, they focus on enjoying their work and maintaining a healthy work-life balance. While some of these traits may seem negative, it's important to remember that everyone has both positive and negative qualities. People with type B personalities are well-liked and easy to get along with. They're also excellent listeners and very patient. They're really the kind of people you can always count on to be calm in a crisis and level-headed in difficult situations. Now that you know more about type B personalities, you're probably wondering just how common it is to have one. According to studies, only about 20% of the population has a type B personality. This means that the vast majority of people either have a type A or a type C personality. It's now time to look at some famous people who are believed to have type B personalities. The first person on our list is the late John Lennon. John Lennon was a singer, songwriter, and peace activist who was one of the most influential figures of the 20th century. He was a founding member of the Beatles and one of the most successful songwriters of all time. Lennon was also a vocal critic of war and violence, which led him to become a prominent peace activist. His most famous song, Imagine, is considered to be one of the greatest anthems for peace ever written. Beyond his music, Lennon was also a cultural icon whose style and attitude helped to shape the fashion and culture of an entire generation. He was a charismatic and controversial figure who remains one of the most iconic and influential musicians of all time. Next, we have Nelson Mandela. He was a South African anti-apartheid revolutionary, political leader, and philanthropist who served as the first president of South Africa from 1994 to 1999. Mandela was a key figure in the struggle to end apartheid in South Africa and spent 27 years in prison for his activism. After his release from prison, he played a major role in the transition to a multiracial democracy in South Africa. Mandela was a Nobel Peace Prize laureate and one of the most respected and admired leaders of the 20th century. He is remembered for his courage, his determination, and his commitment to justice and equality. The third celebrity on our list is Julia Roberts. She is an American actress and film producer who has appeared in numerous successful films such as Pretty Woman, Erin Brockovich, and Notting Hill. Roberts is one of the most popular and highest-paid actresses in Hollywood and has won numerous awards, including an Academy Award, a Golden Globe, and 3 Screen Actors Guild Awards. She is also known for her humanitarian work and has been a Goodwill Ambassador for the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees since 1991. And finally, let's look at Bill Gates. Bill Gates is an American business magnate, software developer, investor, author, and philanthropist. He is the co-founder of Microsoft and is considered to be one of the most successful and influential entrepreneurs of all time. Gates is also a major philanthropist and co-chairs the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, which focuses on global health and development issues. As you can see, people with type B personalities can be highly successful in a variety of fields. Having a type B personality doesn't hold you back from achieving your dreams. That's all for today. We hope you enjoyed this video and learned something new. Let us know in the comments below what you think of the video and if you agree with the points we made. Make sure to subscribe to our channel and hit the like button if you haven't already. Don't forget to share this video with your friends and family. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.